And now here we go for Friday. We'll take a look at your information, your pro gambling report. We get straight to it. We're not going to just ramble on about nothing for 40 minutes. We'll get straight to the great information. By the way, Joe Duffy's picks. Yep, so it begins 4-0 yesterday in Major League Baseball. You got 6 Major League Baseball winners, 3 each for mid to late afternoon, led by the NL Run Line Game of the Week, a system that is plus 683.16 units on the plus side, plus 4 NBA tonight, including Wise Guy plays, backed by a system that's 52-18 and way better since both 2015 and in the history of my database. It's all at offshoreinsiders.com. Why don't we get to the free winner first tonight? It's the San Antonio Spurs plus the 8.5 against Denver. No secret the public loves to bet on both the better and the hotter teams. In this case, Denver is both better and hotter. And this creates an overlay when you bet on the superior team that's much hotter. Look, the Spurs are 2-9 straight up their last 11. Denver's sizzling, winning 7 straight and 16-19. So only a nut would want to bet on San Antonio. And it's kind of your buy low, sell high type scenario. We've got an angle that says bet on the much colder team that's 519, 377, and 13 ATS. Despite, by the way, only being 356, 553 outright, crushing the inductive myth where people tell you, yeah, bet on the team that you think will win outright. So many examples of people not knowing the difference between a inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning and what are lag indicators and lead indicators. That's one of the many, many, many reasons that thousands of handicappers have come and gone trying to sell picks while I've been a professional full-time handicapper. And you know what? If I can last until my 80s, and I'm going to be picking you winners until I die, or until I'm physically incapable of doing so. So if I hopefully stick around for another 30 years or so, I guarantee you the thousands of handicappers will come and go, in part because they don't know handicapping 101. Some of our better simulators, Sportsline gives San Antonio a 59% chance of covering. Action Network has this power ratings at a 7.2 point differential. So much like team rankings, a very slight edge to our side. MasseyRatings has a spread at 7.5. But again, this is what we're talking about. There's a slight overlay. Anytime you can get an extra point, a 1.5, it's going to pay off big time long term. A small edge becomes a big edge in gambling, and that's another thing that so many gamblers don't realize. You know, they always think, oh, the best picks are ones that cover by 20. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a sense that's true, but not necessarily. Sometimes knowing where you're getting the extra point or two and covering by a point or two is truly the essence of being a professional gambler, which I am. Now, Jamal Murray, who averages 21.8 points per game for the Nuggets, likely limited tonight. And again, so your free winners to go with San Antonio. Now, some NBA trends brought to you by offshoreinsiders.com, home of vetted sportsbooks. Rockets have gone under 79, 50, and 1 their last 131. Pelicans over 31 and 12 at home. The Timberwolves 43, 68, and 2 their last 118. Biggest consensus moves in terms of percentage of bets, and this is where the contrarians would look to bet the other side. Chicago, 63% of the tickets. This is significant because the public generally likes favorites. The popular adage among a lot of contrarian bettors is public dogs die, or the, shade trendy dogs. So Chicago would be the fade based on that theory. Most lopsided bets in terms of percentage of money, and therefore the biggest sportsbook liabilities, would be Philadelphia. Some people say, look, I want to be rooting with the bookmakers. The bookmakers always make money long term, and that theory would say that Philadelphia would be the greatest fade tonight. Sharp versus square metrics, where we use, or pros versus Joes as some people will call it, measure the money as opposed to the number of tickets, and the biggest edges of sharp versus squares would be the LA Clippers, Golden State, and Orlando. The biggest line moves were the opening odds followed by current odds. Denver opened up at -6.5. They're now -8.5. And please follow us on Twitter if you're not already doing that, by the way, at Offshore Insider. Yeah, the website is Offshore Insiders, but there's character limitations, so on Twitter I'm only Offshore Insider, no S, and we give you all kinds of free information on a daily basis. That's at offshoreinsiders.com, but on Twitter at Offshore Insider.